team? Welcome back. I have some exciting news. I purchased a 66 Falcon. The thing is super sick. Just kidding. It's a customer car. But it's super sick, to say the least. It's in great shape. It's like the late 60s model that kind of looks like an early 60s Falcon and a Mustang had a baby, and this is kind of what you get. It's in awesome shape. He hit me up, needs the exhaust done, and he wants an 850 cage and then an ARB put in it. So that's what we're going to be working on here the next few weeks. And just a little bit about the car. He had it for a while. He's finally getting it back together the way he wants it, with kind of the drivetrain that he had in one of his Fox bodies. I think it's a 418 or 427 stroker, high compression, was a nitrous motor in one of his Fox bodies. It's got a TH400 with the Motion Raceworks shifter on it. It's got a factory tank with a sump and a quick performance 9-inch. The thing is super clean, air and water fuel system. And yeah, there's the X pipe. We're going to try to make that work with 3-inch collector, so we got to get up to 3.5 and then try to get that thing to fit under the sucker. So that should be interesting. I think I'm going to do the exhaust in one video and then the ARB in one video, and then maybe like a 2-part series on the cage. So yeah, I think it's going to be a freaking cool build. He said he's going to probably take it to the track. He primarily wants to do like drag and drive stuff. But I think he's just itching to kind of get it back out. So I think he said it's been some years or an exceptional amount of time since he's had it out. So he's just kind of itching to get it back on the road. It's already fall. Not sure when for sure I'll have it done. Hopefully he'll have some time to drive it before the salt comes out. But yeah, aside from that, it'll be next spring he'll have it out. So keep your eyes peeled for this thing, guys. This thing is super cool. So yeah, let's get to trying to get that X pipe. Essentially, first I want to kind of hang it up and then see what we got to do, see if it's even going to work. Being a 3.5, it's freaking huge. I always forget how like big full exhaust is. Like, no one runs full exhaust anymore. Like, as far as who I hang out with, obviously all the turbo shit we do, no one wants full exhaust. So it's kind of cool to get back to this. But then again, you look at that and it's like, holy shit, 3.5. Like, it's funny because my downpipe of my car is 5-inch, but obviously I have a lot of room for the 5-inch up front, especially with the tube front end. This thing is like, the 3.5 looks huge under the car, you know. So we will do whatever we got to do to make it work, or we will make one out of 3-inch. But yeah, let's get it hung up and see what we got to do. Alright guys, so I got the car kind of lowered down the previous X pipe that he had. It looks pretty good. I still want to get it up a little bit higher. We're going to try to sneak it up as high as possible against the car. We're going to shorten the front of the X so we can get it up and behind the cross member there. I want it as close as possible to the drive shaft without hitting. Obviously the suspension is unsprung right now, so it's going to be as low as we want it, because I want it to be safe when he jacks it up or puts it on the rack. I don't want it sitting on the exhaust, obviously. So we're going to shorten that front X, and then we'll kind of set her back in here and get it up a little bit higher. And essentially we want to keep it level with I mean, I guess the rocker, in other words. So that's our main goal here. We're going to try to keep it tight and up against the rocker, and then we'll figure out our I mean, I guess they're kind of called flow tubes, would be probably the correct terminology. Back here, we want our tips pretty close to the rear end here. It's pretty centered. I mean, it's only an inch, but I don't know. I'm pretty anal about shit like that, so I want to get it up tighter, as tight as possible. We can cut that in half, go ½ inch or something. So yeah, we will shorten the front of the X, and then we'll get it back in here, and then we'll get these hangers on and get it hung up, and then we'll focus on getting from collector to X. Guys, I got it where I want it. I don't know if you guys can't really tell, but it's about as tight to the drive shaft as it's gonna get. I'm gonna get these mounted on the back here first. We'll get the back nice and mounted, and then we'll kind of work our way that way. So this is kind of my hanger setup here. So I'll show you how I'm gonna knock these out. So I have the exhaust where I want it. Eventually, I'm gonna cut off those old ones, and this guy is gonna go just like that. So as you can see, I marked a Sharpie line on there. I'm gonna trim both of them the same size, essentially, as long as I put them both on the same spot in the body. They should be the same height off the bottom of the car. So yeah, I'll get these cut and then we'll tack them on. Alright, while we're waiting for that sucker to cool off, its hangers, we're going to go ahead and trim this down. I just want it as short as possible. We don't need this to take up a lot of room, so essentially that's going to leave us more room for either pie cuts or fitting on the front of that X. So yeah, we'll just cut this down really quick. I'm going to go ahead and tack these reducers on here. This is kind of going to be one of our starting points. So they're essentially just going to go like this. I was unaware that they were actually slide-ons, but that's okay. They're going to look alright. It's alright. Oh, both sides are slide-ons. Okay, or slip-ons. Sweet. Alright. That's alright. No big deal. I thought I was going to butt join them, or butt weld them, but no, that'll look alright. Sweet. Okay. Let's get these suckers tacked on here. And there we have it, guys. About 1.5 inches each side of the drive shaft. They're sitting really close. The hangers aren't welded, they just got good tacks on them. I really like how that looks. It's sitting pretty tight. We got about 1/2 inch in between the drive shaft there on both sides. And then essentially we'll probably kind of come out this way and then down, and then so this way and then down, and then kind of back up and in here. My reducers are kind of just left off. And then yeah, this will obviously be 3-inch forward. It's going to be tight, but more than doable. I think we will end up taking off some of this frame rail here on the top. That really doesn't do anything. It's not welded. It's kind of just free floating here. So I think, yeah, the first thing we should probably do is I might cut a length of pipe here. Maybe, maybe even out to the end here. And then we'll kind of get it up here and on here and then see what we got to cut out here, how far we can take it before we have to cut it and put some pie cuts or a bend in there. But yeah, essentially we'll get a piece of pipe on both sides and then we'll see where we got to cut here and then see what we got to do to get it around. I mean, it's going to be a funky offset here, but we're going to make it work. I think it's going to sound... He let me know that I could make a 3-inch, but I like the 3.5. It's sick, and it's going to sound super sick. So he already knows how it sounds. I haven't heard it with the 3.5 on it, but I'd much rather just keep it 3.5. The bigger the exhaust, especially on a nitrous or high compression motor, the better. So yeah, we'll get through this, getting a couple of pieces of pipe cut, and then we'll kind of get them up here and see what we got to do here, and then probably cut this, like I was saying. I'm going to try to use what he brought me for fittings. Ideally, we'd leave pie cuts completely out of it, save a lot of time and money, and everything else. So I think what I'm going to try to do is do a 45, and well, double 45 essentially. So all I have is 2 bent 45s, so unfortunately we're going to have to make a couple. I mean, you can kind of see where it went in the mandrel bender here. So I kind of just marked off, which is as close as you're probably going to get to figuring out where it's exactly 90 on both sides. So essentially I mark those, and then I'll measure halfway in between here, put a mark, on the outside, halfway in between these 2 marks on the outside. Essentially that should get us really close to 45. And then I'll cut both of these. And these ones will go on the header side. We'll kind of hold them up here and get them in a good spot where we like them. And then we'll put our line on here where to cut this. As soon as we cut this, we can kind of get that level. I want to get it... I mean, this side's pretty good, but this side has to go up. I want it like a finger length away. So really that's going to be the lowest part on the exhaust, is that offset there, which isn't terrible. I mean... You're looking, probably about 3.5 inches from, which not even. I mean, you're looking 2 inches below the cross member, probably at the bottom of the pipe. Essentially, this thing isn't super slammed, so we don't have to worry about it entirely. You still have to be mindful of it. So let's get to marking these out and cutting them in half. Same thing with these ones, guys. Typically, especially with the slip ends, I usually cut them off anyways. But it's much easier now on the other side of this offset. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll cut these short, and then worst case scenario is really I'm adding 1 more weld. But this way I can kind of spin these and then get them exactly right so they're facing square to each other on the collector and on the X pipe, and then I'll just measure and add in whatever I need. This kind of makes the joint fit up a lot better than trying to eye it up and make a mark or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to slice these, shorten them, slice them, and then we'll get both pieces in there, and then we'll measure in between to make the final connection. So I ended up cutting that. Just so you guys can see, I marked it. But it's actually going to work just how it is. I just got to trim that one. Essentially, I don't need a piece of pipe. It's going to go just like this. I'll get it all packed up, and then we will make sure that it's not too low right there. I can move it a little bit out if I needed to, but essentially this is probably going to be as good as it gets. We'll see what happens. We'll get these tacked up and then see if the height is okay under the car. So stick the steel up there and get this side tacked in, and then we'll do what we gotta do with the other side. I think it's about time to get this thing burned out, so yeah, let's get to it. There it is, guys. Just got those hangers put on. Threw a coat of paint on the top of them just so the floor pans would be safe. That's kind of how she came out. So yeah, let's do startup on the sucker. Let's throw this battery cable back on here. I'll get up, I'll remember to tighten that up. Okay. I think that's on. Yeah, looks like it. Alright guys, first startup with the 3.5-inch X pipe on. This is my pen. Oh, that's actually sick. I didn't even notice that before. There you have it, folks. We got her started up. It sounds freaking awesome. Essentially, he's gonna come grab the car and pull the dash and the rest of the interior out of it, and then he's gonna drop it back off, and then we'll be able to start on the ARB or the cage. I'm not exactly sure which one we're gonna do next, but yeah, I will keep you guys updated. Appreciate it. Subscribe.